We'll call the Avon Town Council meeting of March 13th to order. If everyone would please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Julie, would you take roll call, please?
Bill Holland.
Here.
Jason Puckett.
Present.
Don Loudon.
Present.
Greg Zuzin.
Present.
Robert Pope.
Present.
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda. If there's any discussion necessary, or if not, if someone would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, including the check register for March 13th, 2025, and the approval of minutes for February 27th, 2025, as presented.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Julie, roll call, please.
Robert Pope.
4.
Bill Holland.
4.
Don Loudon.
4.
Greg Zuzin.
4.
Jason Puckett.
4.
Thank you. Next is department updates. Who'd like to come forward first? Shelby.
Shelby Pride, Parks Director. I attended, myself and my staff, attended the Picnic for the Parks put on by the Park Foundation of Hendricks County last Thursday. It was held at the Hendricks County Fairgrounds. There were 400 people in attendance to support the Parks Foundation, Hendricks County Parks, all of the things. It was a huge event. This was the second year for it. The speaker was Cliff Chapman. He is the CEO of the Central Indiana Land Trust. During his presentation, he announced, let me preface this, last August, Ryan and I had a meeting with the Central Indiana Land Trust about Burnett Woods Nature Preserve here in Avon. And what could we do with that? Could we partner with that in any sort of way, given that we're about to start breaking ground on Burnett Park? So they have to take special steps. So he announced at this presentation in front of 400 people that DNR has approved a partnership with Avon Parks and Recreation Department. We're not sure of the details of that. That will be, coming soon, obviously, to you guys in the near future once we work out the details. But basically, we are hoping to help maintain that 80-acre nature preserve and be able to co-brand Burnett Park and Nature Preserve as one cohesive big element. It's going to stay in nature preserve. It's state dedicated land, all of those things, but very exciting that we could help bring more people to that through our park system. So that was really exciting. And we had a booth set up there. We had park plans of Burnett Park, Winton Meadows, and pickleball, the things that we have approved in the bond to move forward with. And we had probably by far the busiest table, just people wanting information on that. So it was really good. It was really good information to have out in front of that community. 2 weeks ago, I received notice that our Tree City USA 2024 application was approved. That is 18 years in a row. We have received that every year since 2007. That was the first year that the town applied and received it, and we have consecutively gone after that and received it every year. So I will put it on your April agenda. I think April 25th will be Arbor Day. So on the 24th, you guys will probably have that proclamation on the agenda, and that's something we have to do year after year to maintain that Tree City USA status. Any questions?
Thank you, Shelby.
Thank you.
Good job.
Steve Moore, Public Works Director. I guess the big announcement's already been announced, but we were awarded by the state of Indiana $1.5 million for the Community Crossings program. So that's, so a lot of effort by a lot of people, and appreciate everybody's help with that. And now they're pushing us to have it awarded by April 15th. So we're working on the bid documents right now, trying to get those pushed out so we can get it out to bid. We already have it advertised, and we're moving forward. Other than that, keep it up with potholes. Grady Brothers was out again today. Hopefully it's getting less and less, but we're keeping up with that. We're getting our other projects ready for the year, and we're working on all the developments to keep them up to snuff with all the wet weather now turning dry. They're moving dirt again, and so we're getting everybody and keeping them under control. Any questions?
I just want to say thank you for staying on top of NDOT and 36 and those potholes, because we had a lot of comments about it, and I appreciate what you've done because they got out there and they took care of it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Linda Albram, Planning Department Director. I want to start with the comp plan. We had our Big Ideas open house on February 25th. We only had 10 people in attendance, which was a lot less than our first open house, but we did hear a lot of ideas from them. The people that attended were presented with all of the goals that we lined out for each part of the comp plan, and we had no negative comments. They were all very positive, or that they agreed with those goals. Some of them were, I agree with it, but did you think of this? Or we had little side comments, but there was no comments that were in the negative for any of the goals listed in the comp plan. Then we had our steering committee number 6 earlier this week on March 11th. We are looking at the draft future land use map. There are still a few areas that we're batting around a lot and trying to figure out what's the best, where they should land on the future land use map. And then staff, we're going to look at it one more time, the whole future land use map. And then we have 4 focus areas that we have started to really take a deep dive on. And so we've gotten through one of those. So we'll continue to do that at the next steering committee meeting. At the BZA on February 18th, the board approved a special exception for a Ray Skillman dealership, southeast corner of 936. At the Plan Commission, coming up in March, there will be 3 continued petitions being heard, both of the Whispering Pines cases and Briarwood, the continued ones, and then 2 new cases, which is the Ray Skillman plat, and then Harvest Landing Lot 2, which is known as the Ace Hardware piece. That original development plan had expired, and so they're coming back to have it reapproved. The March 18th meeting of the BZA is canceled due to lack of business, but we will be meeting on April 15th. And then so far for the April Plan Commission, we have 2 cases. One is a gas station convenience store, which is north of the Habitat resale building, which came through here. It was coming through, it was at the end of its life when I first started here about a year ago. So, and then it got withdrawn. Well, it's back. And then
Is that where that car wash is?
where it was, yeah.
Where it was?
Yeah. And then we have a proposal to rezone the Beechwood site behind Rural King for townhomes. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you.
I've got a little something tonight, actually. Julie Loker, Clerk Treasurer. Due to the town's strong financials, I know you probably already saw it in Ryan's weekly update, but we sold our bond last Tuesday. There were a lot of Zoom meetings about it. Go, no go. Are we going to do it? What's the market doing? Blah, blah, blah. But we ended up going on Tuesday, and we ended up getting a 3.67 overall true interest cost, which in this market, 3.67 overall is an amazing number for us. And that's due to the town's strong financial situation. We did get a premium discount of $665,800 or $665,000 and some change. And I want to just thank our attorneys. They did an amazing job. Ryan, Raymond James, Heather James, and especially Greg and Charlie with FSG. Those guys are just fantastic. So that's why we like to keep them around. But congratulations to everybody. Our bond sold, and we're moving forward with the Civic Center.
Awesome. Thank you. Good job, everyone.
If you wouldn't mind, Chief Stoops actually had a police issue that called him away. So he asked if I were to read his weekly report really quick. The good news is, I know how you guys love listening to Sean talk. He only has 2 items, so it should be relatively brief. So Officer Fenrick, Officer Brace, and Officer Clark are scheduled to complete their field training program on March 17th
and will be released to work solo. So that's great. March 17th is next week. So that's great. We'll have 3 more officers out on the street. So that's excellent news. The 2025 Avon Police Department hiring process, background investigations are underway, and detectives are working on background investigations. So far, 8 of those investigations have been completed, but resulted in the removal of those candidates for various issues. 3 of the candidates are still moving forward at this time. That's all I had.
Thank you. Moving on to council comment and liaison reports. Bill, you want to start us off this week?
Yes, I have nothing because it's already been stated.
Okay, thank you. Greg?
Attended the Ryan Home ribbon cutting on March 7th. Attended the comp plan steering committee meeting on March 11th. And did the Men in Action reading today for the kids at the Avon schools. That's it.
Thank you. Jason?
I attended the Police Merit Board meeting earlier this week. So I think Ryan pretty much just covered everything that we discussed at that meeting. Other than that, I have nothing new to report.
Thank you, Robert.
Nothing of importance to the town at Monday's school board meeting. Stormwater Board met yesterday where they did their annual legal training, and they continue the discussion of a collection and lien process ordinance. We may see that soon. Along with Greg, got to participate in the Sheltering Wings Men in Action Read event. Got to read to a group of 4th graders at Maple. I do have a question. It has been a while since we did our annual or our beginning of the year leadership and liaison posts. Who is our WCCD liaison this year?
Yeah, I don't think it was appointed.
Okay, I do remember from that was something that you and Bill were going to take offline. So if we could reevaluate that.
I have attended one of them, but not as the liaison, but
Sure.
I did attend, yeah.
That's all I got.
Nothing for me to report on that. We'll go ahead and open up the first public comment period of the meeting. If there's anyone that would like to come forward and speak on a specific matter, please come forward, state your name and your address. No one in the audience, so we'll close that public comment section and move on to new business. Award the roundabout maintenance quotes.
Steve Moore, Public Works Director. We received 3 quotes for the roundabout maintenance. The current provider, All Terrain, was second. The lowest was Cutting Edge Lawn Care. We checked references. Their overall price was very similar to what we're paying this year or paid for last year. They got good references. They seem to have enough equipment and personnel to do the job. So we're recommending that you award the contract to Cutting Edge Lawn Care Service.
They don't sound familiar. Have we utilized
They're
their services?
West Side Indy. They do a lot of work out this way though, but I've seen their vehicles around.
We haven't directly.
We have not used them directly.
All Terrain and Holschnick, we've done plenty of. but-
Holschnick did the landscaping years ago, and they currently do a lot of our drainage work
Yeah.
for us. Cutting Edge is doing the job. No, I mean, All Terrain is doing it now, and they do a lot of ancillary stuff. They also do work for the parks. All 3 good companies. We're just recommending that you go with.
Any concerns that we haven't?
I think Cutting Edge is located right there on 10th Street by Gillespie's, 10th Street and Raceway.
Yeah.
Right back there by the softball or the soccer, basketball.
Indoor soccer, yeah.
My only question was, Holtznick did not include the routine maintenance. What would that price differential have been?
I can't tell you exactly. Keaton did the analysis, and I'm just here representing Keaton. So, but no, they were far enough on the basic services that it wouldn't have mattered.
I did have that conversation with Keaton, and Keaton actually said that he would use Craig to do all of his work. So even if we added Craig's costs to Tom's, again, Steve's right, it would have been substantially more expensive.
Who's Craig?
Craig is
All
All
Terrain.
Terrain. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I apologize.
Any other discussion? questions? If not, would someone want to make a motion?
I move we approve the cutting edge lawn care service for the 2025 roundabout mowing project in the amount of $51,796.
Second.
Thank you. Julie, we have a first and a second. Would you take roll call?
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Jason Puckett,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Bill Holland,
4.
Don Loudon.
4. Next is participation in the NDOT road salt purchase. Steve, are you speaking on that as well?
Yeah, I'm Keaton again. This is Keaton's deal. He does the road salt and the sand every year. We've participated in this for I don't know how many years, Ryan, but lots of years. And we are asking that you allow us to participate again. We just this last week ordered and have not received yet our last amount from the previous order. We've maxed it out to the 20% over. And so that's our way of getting the lowest price possible because it never gets less expensive. So we topped off our barn with as much as what we were allowed to buy under the last contract. So this is the next contract.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion?
What's the 1,500 tons related to from last year's order?
It's about the same.
Is it? Okay. I know we technically are we still might have some snow events, but
Probably not, but hopefully not.
hopefully not.
But yeah, so we're topping off the barn now with the last amount. And so then we're set up for this fall or, winter, whatever,
Okay.
to start.
This is a good amount is where I'm trying to get at.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
can keep the same even with the additional events.
Yeah.
No other questions? Would someone be willing to make a,
Yeah, I move we approve the participation in NDOT's road salt purchase for 1,500 tons as presented.
Second.
thank you. Julie, roll call, please.
Bill Holland,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Jason Puckett.
4.
I guess you're going to stay up here for the awarding street sweeping quote.
Yes, so we only had 2 people submit quotes. We had a third that we had high hopes of submitting. But he ended up being a subcontractor to Fox Contractors, and that ended up being the high quote. So he kind of took himself out of that. He's kind of regretting that team. So Crossroads Street Sweep, they've pretty much come up with a price of what we paid the year before. They do Zionsville, Whitestown, other communities, and we checked the references and it's good. So we're recommending that you accept the quote of Crossroads Street Sweep at the $37,250 per sweep and $240 an hour as needed.
Any discussion or questions?
I know you said it, but I want to make sure I'm not familiar with, I'm not familiar that we have used Crossroads Street Sweep. We've used Crossroads.
We have not used them.
Right. And you did say you've checked references. and
We
so
did.
You feel confident that just because we have not used them, that they'll still do a good job.
Not only do, so up in the northwest area where they're being used right now, Noblesville, Fishers, so Whitestown, Zionsville, and that New Lily development, they're all using this guy. Now, our question was, do you have the capacity to service us as well? And he said he thinks he can, and he's got the right price and the right equipment and the right references. So I'm thinking, okay, let's give him a shot. We can't afford the other one.
Although them we're very familiar with. So,
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Any other discussion? If not,
My only question is, these 3 quotes that we've just talked about are all coming from the same fund that has a balance of $594,000 that you've highlighted in it. But when you add them all up, it comes to $665,000. So we have a shortfall of $71,000.
So some of it's ancillary services that, like you asked me before offline about, extra sweeps or extra mowings or whatever, that's included in here. Obviously, we won't go over. If we start getting close to our budget amount and we think we're going to need more, we'll come back to council, but we haven't gone over yet. And this is pretty much the same thing we've done the last couple of years.
I'm just taking the numbers you've given me and then taking the account that you're going to pull it from.
Right.
And those quotes exceed the dollars
Yeah.
that's in the fund.
How did you
Yeah.
get to that, Craig?
I
Because
just
the mowing is 50,000, the salt commitment's 140, and the street sweeping 70.
One is 51,796. I thought I just added what he showed me
I
here.
say I come up with like 280.
I took the highlighted 450 in the budget. On the one, I took the highlighted of 125 and I took the highlighted of 90. Added them all up, came to 665. And then if you look at the general ledger that he includes, he highlights 594 in uncommitted dollars. So I just took the highlighted numbers.
You took the highlighted numbers out of, you're talking, which, you're not in the available funds, you're in the, yeah, you're in the funding trends. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah. I just want to make certain we have enough money, that's all.
Yeah, we did. There's other places where we pay for it, but still, it should only come up to like 280, and you have 500,000 in there. So based on the actual bids, not what's in your actual budget.
Okay.
Remember, your budget, if you actually go look at the MIP, that budget is funded from 8 different funds. It's not from a singular fund. We just showed these contracts in particular coming out of that location.
That's fine.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we award the 2025 street sweeping to Crossroads for the amount of $37,250 as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Julie, would you take roll call, please?
Jason Puckett,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Bill Holland.
4.
Next is selection of construction engineer for County Road 100 North and Raceway Road. Are you speaking on that?
Steve and I will do this together. As you guys are aware, the town received funding to construct a roundabout at County Road 100 North and Raceway Road. Part of that is we have to provide full-time inspection during that construction. So the way we do this is we do an RFP process to select an engineer. We use qualification-based selection, so we ask engineers to submit proposals. As indicated in my memo, we had 4 companies provide qualifications. We had a scoring committee that consisted of our town council liaison for public works, which was Robert, and then we had the RDC president, Bill Reed. Steve and myself reviewed the proposals. We scored them. Based on that scoring, the highest scoring firm was United Consulting. And so it is our recommendation that the town council approve United Consulting for the staff to negotiate a contract with. So just to qualify, all we're asking for you guys for tonight is to approve that selection, which allows us to then go and negotiate a contract. The contract will come back to you, the council, for approval. What we also always ask you guys to do, if we're unable to reach an agreement on the fee, that we would be allowed to go to the second highest scoring firm to then try to negotiate that fee with them if we're unable to come to an agreement. Typically, we have a good feel for these, especially on the construction engineering. We know what amounts it typically takes based on the size of a project. And so again, typically we don't have that problem, but in case you guys are wondering, well, we don't know what the cost of this is. That's why you don't have a cost. We'll go and actually work on that with United once the council approves it. So we're happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Question I have is 1, 2, 3 of the 4 did not have, or they had 0 for a score, where the firm includes DBE, WBE, MBE. I would think that all of them have some type of woman-owned affiliations and minority-owned affiliations. I don't understand why they would have gotten a 0 score.
If they didn't list it, then we couldn't give them credit for it. But regardless of that score, the same firm would have won anyways if nobody got that.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I used to be a consultant for a lot of years, and I always made sure that I was working for a DBE at the end, and we couldn't use our own DBE as that participation amount. We had to get another DBE in order to fulfill that requirement, and we always did. I don't know why they wouldn't have, but regardless, the same company would have won regardless.
And this changed a little bit, Greg. So if you remember, we no longer use federal funds. When you use federal funds, there was a requirement to have a DBE. Now that we're doing the funding exchange, you don't necessarily have to, but then they still say it's still good if you have one. And so that's the points that are allocated are actually very low. If it was actually through NDOT, you get like 10 points for having a DBE, but you also would have been required to have a DBE. So that's just kind of coming to the equation. It's not required for us to do at all. So we could have said you get no points, but again, we gave it a very low threshold that if someone included it, that would be a positive. And so again, United was the only one that provided somebody. The other firms could have provided somebody if they wanted, they just didn't.
All right, thank you.
No other questions? Would someone like to make a motion?
I move we approve United Consulting as the selection of construction engineer for the County Road 100 North and Raceway Road project as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Julie, would you take roll call, please?
Don Loudon,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Jason Puckett,
4.
Bill Holland.
4.
Next, accept annexation petitions. Ryan, are you speaking on that?
Yes, I'll do this. You have actually, I'm going to take them all together if you guys don't mind. I know they're kind of separated as different agenda items if anyone's following us online. You have 7 annexation petitions in front of you. The first 2 are from Kernoodle and Watson. And I know Linda talked to you guys earlier about the Briarwood development. These are the 2, there's actually 3 properties, but 2 property owners that would be annexed as part of that. And that would be part of the Briarwood development. The next one you have is MJ Ventures, which is a parcel on County Road 200 North and Ronald Reagan Parkway. We've had some discussions, or I've had some discussions with the property owner. They have some interest in eventually rezoning that. They're only kind of a small parcel. So they had some commercial desires. I told them it may be unlikely. As you guys know, that area should be shown as light industrial. The property owner still feels like it's in their best interest to get annexed into the town. And so they did sign a petition and are asking to be annexed.
Isn't there an excavating company right next door to them?
The excavating company is 2 parcels that surrounds this parcel. This parcel is right next to that one, Greg. But so there'll still be, there's 3 parcels total in that little gap there. This is just one of the 3. And then the 4 other parcels, I know this is a little unusual, are town of Avon parcels. I know we've talked about this in some of our annexation strategy, that there are some outstanding town parcels that are still out there that have never been annexed. Unfortunately, the legislature has not granted us some easier process to go through other than the full annexation process, just like any other parcels. So we will still have to do public hearings for these. We will still have to do fiscal plans. We'll have to do everything we do for normal annexation, even though they're town of Avon annexations and they'll have no impact to us. And they're obviously properties owned by us, but in order to annex them, we still have to go through that process. So you do have 4 properties there. One is the corner of 36 and 625, which is our new sports fields that we just purchased. The other one is 200 North and 900 East. It's the southwest corner that when we built that roundabout, we had to relocate a property owner from that address. Same situation at Avon Avenue and 150 South when we built that roundabout. We own the southwest corner of that one as well. We had to relocate the property owner. We demoed that house a couple of years ago. The Public Works Department does have a barn on that property, and they use that as storage for some of their public works materials. And then the last one, as you guys know, this is the Dan Jones 100 North one that we had some conversations with Wawa about when they were going there. That parcel is 100% surrounded by Avon, but it's never been annexed. So Those are the town parcels. I'm happy to answer any questions, but you guys do need to accept the petitions and then we'll start the process.
Just for clarification, do you want these voted on individually?
I think the council can do it either way.
Okay. Are there any questions? If not, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the annexation petitions for Kernodle, MJ Ventures, 36 and County Road 625 East, 200 North and County Road 900 East, Avon Avenue and County Road 150 South, and Dan Jones and County Road 100 North as presented.
Second.
Great. Thank you. Roll call, Julie.
Robert Pope,
4.
Bill Holland,
4.
Jason Puckett,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Greg Zuzen.
4.
Moving on, Resolution 2025-07, authorizing the transfer of real estate for the Civic Center. Dan?
Yes. This is another step in the Civic Center process. As you know, once you close your bonds, you're going to transfer the property to your redevelopment authority, who will then turn around and lease it to your RDC. So there's a deed involved there that we have to have Dawn sign and Julie attest to. And so when we do these things, the title people want to see that you have authorized that. And I think you've authorized that about 3 times already, but we're going to do it one more time where it stands alone. And so this resolution would authorize that transfer to the redevelopment authority from you, the town council, and then would allow Dawn and Ryan and Julie to sign any and all documents that are necessary to make that happen. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
It's getting real.
Well, and I'm sorry, and the transfer to the school, the split.
Any questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I move we adopt resolution 2025-07, authorizing the transfer of real estate for the Civic Center to the RDA and ACSC as presented.
Second.
Julie, would you take a roll call, please?
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Jason Puckett,
4.
Bill Holland,
4.
Don Loudon.
4. Resolution 2025-08, authorizing the filing of petition for tax deed.
As you recall, you accepted a commissioner certificate from the county commissioners for a certain property that was in Avon. And Anna has given notice to the property owners as required by law, and that time has, or will soon expire. No, it has expired, hasn't it? It has expired. And so the next step, now that that redemption period has lapsed, is for us to formally petition with the court and ask the court to order the county auditor to transfer the property to the ownership of the town. And so this resolution authorizes that next step.
Any questions, discussion? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2025-08, authorizing the filing of the petition for a tax deed as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Julie, roll call, please.
Jason Puckett,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Bill Holland.
4.
Next is the final reading of ordinance 2025-08, adopting the UDO text amendment.
So I introduced this UDO text amendment at your meeting in February. This is to reinstate back into the UDO 2 additional findings of fact for a variance of development standards that were not carried over from the old ordinance to the UDO. And it was heard by the Plan Commission at their hearing on February 24th and recommended for approval unanimously. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
My only question is, we just did resolution 2025-08. This is ordinance 2025-08. It's just coincidental, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-08, adopting the UDO text amendment as presented.
Second.
Okay. Julie, roll call, please.
Bill Holland,
Four.
Jason Puckett,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
Four.
Robert Pope.
4.
Next is legal counsel report.
We're busy with bonds, of course, and we will see those through, but otherwise, I have nothing to report.
Thank you. We'll also reopen the last of the public comment sessions. If there is someone in the public that would like to come over or come up to the podium and state your name and address, please do so at this time. No one coming forward. We'll close the second of the 2 public comments and move on to council comment. Any council comments?
I have none.
Everyone's shaking their head. We'll move on to council calendar.
Real easy. Your next meeting is March 27th, 7 PM, just a regular council meeting, no work session. So see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.